Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right. Well, folks, welcome to another edition of Politics and Right. I'm Egberto Willies, your host. Thank you so kindly for being a part of the show. We are going to have a great show for you today. Hey, it's revived. It's revived. The Biden administration has come back to life because the master, Joe Manchin, decided that he just about had to do it. I wonder why. Do you think there's some reason why he decided that climate is really important after all? Do you think so? Well, the pushback about his decision 2 weeks ago to blow up in big ordeal. Anyhow, folks, welcome aboard. Eric Hayes is in the house. Breach MCP. I didn't know you guys got tornadoes in New York and hail and all of that. I thought all that bad weather was something that only Texans and Southerners had to endure. I guess not. Paul Fleming Sr. is in the house. Welcome, Paul. How you doing, my brother? Yvette Avery Herod, our union specialist, our beautiful union activist, is in the house. Paul says to hit that like button. Egberto, you might not like my commentary on that topic then. I mean, I like everybody's commentary. I don't have to agree with your commentary to want to listen to it and hear it. Who knows? You may change my mind. Come on, man. You've been on this show a long time, my dear brother AVQ. And you know that I love to massage things out because that's how we learn. That's how we get better. You know? That's why yesterday I actually gave Eric Hayes some kudos when we were talking nuclear energy. I gave him so much kudos that I decided to make it into an outtake. Alistair Waters, beautiful Alistair, how you doing, girlfriend? Hey, y'all, she says. Welcome aboard. And of course, in the house is our wonderful AVQ as well. AC Rodriguez says, Soup, peeps, what's up? What's up, AC Rodriguez? ¿Cómo está todo? Espero que todo está perfecto. You know? Hablando, hey, you know, the other day I was speaking Spanish and forgot a few words, you know, and it's like, oh my God, what's happening here? E2247 is in the house. Arturo Dominguez, Extreme Arturo, has posted a Substack and on Medium. Uvalde Mayor working with extremist group. I saw that. I didn't read it yet. As you guys know, we've had Arturo Dominguez a couple of times, or actually like 4 or 5 times on our show. We love El Señor Dominguez, one of our top writers out there on Medium as well as on Substack. You guys need to go to Substack and Medium. Check out Arturo Dominguez and like his stuff. Subscribe to his stuff. If you have a few extra pennies in your pocket also, go to his Substack and subscribe for not just the free one, but just to kind of, you know, all these progressive writers that are putting out news out there that nobody else sees. These guys, it would be good for all of us. You know, we sit down a lot of times and we're like, I wish somebody would actually tell the real news. Well, help all these folks. Help all of us out. Hey, we need it here also. So please, Arturo Dominguez, I love the guy. Check out his work. He does great, great work. All right. Egberto, I've got a particularly long comment coming up, but I hope you read that Reuters stuff. Of course, if you have something out, buddy, I am going to read it, as long as, you know, it doesn't start a conflict in eventually with the rest of the program where I'm duplicating stuff. All right. Anyhow, let's get busy. Vamos a ver qué está pasando. Whoa, why is this phone stuff? Let me hang you up. There you go. All right. Breach says, hey, peeps, I think, oh, you came in early, Breach. The Guardian, Victor Bout, the Lord of War at center of Brittany Griner and Paul Whelan prisoner swap. Moscow has never forgotten the arms dealer who reportedly keeps a photo of Vladimir Putin in his U.S. cell. His larger-than-life persona was further boosted by the release of the 2005 crime drama Lord of War, featuring Hollywood star Nicolas Cage, which was believed to have been loosely based on Bout's life. Bout was finally arrested at a luxury hotel in Bangkok in 2008 in a spectacular U.S. sting operation in which undercover drug enforcement administration agents posed as rebels from the Colombian group FARC, catching him on camera trying to sell weapons for use against Americans. 4 years later, he was sentenced in a court in New York to 25 years in prison. When the prosecutor said he has agreed to sell weapons to kill Americans, Bout shouted, "It's a lie. God knows the truth." His defense attorney, Albert Diane, said U.S. officials were targeting his client because they were embarrassed that Bout's companies had helped deliver goods to American military contractors involved in the Iraq War. The truth, this is a man who trafficked weapons to private military contractors, terrorists, warlords, dictators, and anyone else with deep pockets. And he didn't care who they killed as a result, so long as he greatly profited from each sale. I want to stop you right there, Brother Rudnin. You think this guy belongs in jail and he should rot in jail because the weapons that he sells. He doesn't care who uses the weapons to kill. Man, Rudnin, you have just made the case that every single gun manufacturer in the United States of America that sells AR-15s and all of that to people we know generally go out there and kill others should be locked up. They're evil. I mean, I agree, but you just made the case much better than I just did. He was a bad dude. He sold guns to whoever would buy it, irrespective of what the intent was of using those guns. I agree with you, Brother Rudnin. All these gun manufacturers belong in jail. Sue them to smithereens because, you know, I should have put the video together. But, you know, I want all my Texas Democrats, right? I want all these Texans to go out there and talk about Dan Patrick, our lieutenant governor, who is the most powerful politician in the state, and our governor, Greg Abbott. I want them to point out that when you saw yesterday near the Dallas area, a woman jumps out of her car and a car is getting away, road rage, and this other car is going. She gets out of the car, points the gun at the car, road rage, gets out of the car on the highway and start pumping bullets into that car. That car got away, but a few people got injured in the car. I mean, the government in Texas, the Republican government in Texas, has allowed guns in mass all over the state. So I don't blow my horns here. If somebody jumps in front of me, I don't show lights or anything. I just let it happen. You know why? You don't know. All these kids are armed because they don't have to go through background. Anybody who can get a gun just can get a gun in Texas. I mean, we have a case. The crime rate, the gun crime rate in Texas has gone up. Republicans, I want ads out that show if you load the place up with guns, people get killed and die. All right, The Guardian from Michael Rudden. Poll most Americans do not. And by the way, this applies to all states, people. This isn't just Texas. This applies to all states as well. All states. All right. That apply these policies, that is. Michael Rudden, The Guardian. Poll most Americans do not want Biden on Trump in 2024. News Nation. This Decision Desk HQ poll shows majority believe duo should not again, but they don't know who they'd prefer. Hey, look, it's 2016 all over again, coming around in 2024. Makes me wish Americans would vote in primaries and actually pick candidates they want to vote for in primary rather than who they think is most electable. A nonsense idea thrust in their minds by propagandists. I agree with you there again. I think it's important. But Rudnin, that's what we do here. That is our job. Our job is not just to have fun exchanging ideas here on Politics Done Right. Our job is after Politics Done Right is over to share share our Facebook of Politics Done Right, our YouTube of Politics Done Right, our Twitch of Politics Done Right, our tweets on Politics Done Right, so that we can help seed the internet with just what you just said. Whoever shares this, both on YouTube and on all the other platforms, will put that message out there, and it will get a few people. You're not going to get a lot each time, but if it's done, the constancy, that is how Republicans were able to get Roe versus Wade overturned. They never let up. They never let up. They kept on pumping that message everywhere. Absolutely every corner of their domain, they pumped that message. They pumped that message. And even though they never reached a majority, they reached the people where it counted. We need to learn that discipline as well. We should learn that discipline as well. And we can learn that discipline as well. Okay. Michael says, Egberto, as for why that Biden-Trump unfavorables poll reminds me of 2016, mind putting this up on the screen. Let's see what it says. Rudnin. Oh, it says suspicious website. Find me another link. I can't do that, especially since we're broadcasting live, but my stuff says it's a suspicious. Worst case scenario, you can do put it up on your screen, do a screenshot, and go ahead and send it to me. And if you can't get it any other way, and I'll try to get it up for you. All right, Reuters. Biden pledged to tax wealthy companies revived with Manchin-led bill. The U.S. corporate tax rate dropped to 21% from 35 after 2017. Tax cut pushed by then President Donald Trump and his fellow Republicans, but many companies pay much less than that, and some of the largest pay no federal taxes, research groups, including the Institute of Taxation and Economic Policy, has found. Biden proposed raise that rate to 28% last year as part of the infrastructure spending bill, but the tax component was struck from the bill. I think that was Cinema's doing, if I recall. The new Manchin-Schumer bill also aims to close the so-called carried loop interest. Not completely, but kind of. A goal of Democrats. Carried interest refers to a long-standing Wall Street tax break that let many private equity and hedge fund financiers pay the lower capital gains tax rate on much of their income. Instead, new compromise bill includes $430 billion in new spending on energy, electric vehicle tax credits, and health insurance investments. It more than pays for itself by raising minimum taxes for big companies and enforcing existing tax laws. Manchin and Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer said in a statement, Trump screwed the people with the tax cuts, as should be 90% as it was during the American heyday of the 1940s and 1950s. That's all Democrats seem to know how to do, is compromise on the compromise and pass half measures that don't go nearly far enough, because their coalition doesn't have enough votes for the full measure, while Republicans play the obstructionist at every turn without often getting called out for it. And then Democrats wonder why people won't vote for them. It's the worst catch-22 to clear bare minimum required infrastructure investment to migrate our energy supply towards renewables and avert climate catastrophe is $5 billion. And Democrats are pushing less than 10% of the requirement. Look, you're right, but I want to add a corollary to that. I want to add, we all need to take responsibility. Why is it that we have everybody blames Manchin and Sinema for cracking or messing up Biden's, agenda. They are just the face, Manchin and Sinema. I could name you Booker for drugs. I could name you individual senators, Democratic senators, that are on the take with the corporatocracy not give us the best deals. I could name Congress senator after senator after senator. So we can't just put the blame on Sinema and Manchin, even though they're the prototypical, one that we throw the blame at. But what you said earlier is what we all should be doing. We all should be going and making sure the primaries are handled. The reason we got these charlatanes in office is that they win the primaries. And then in a democratic state, or at the point that they come about, we do have to elect the best of both evils for those people who would otherwise be hurt if we don't. That's the humane thing we all do. Now, when we complain about it not being done correctly, you're right. That just means we have to keep doing what Republicans did for 40 years. The one thing they had was stay in power. They complain also, but they had the money and they had to stay in power. In other words, when things didn't go their way, they didn't pack up their marbles, go home, and stay home, which is something that we do too often as progressives. The Democrats don't do it right. Progressives sit down and say, well, to hell with you, Democrats, will just sit down. It's not like the progressives sitting down, the Democrats not getting their policies hurt you even more. So my thing is a two-pronged approach. Yes, you are correct. We always compromise and settle for half measures. But that is because those that we elect are half progressives or neoliberals. So if we want to fix that, we have to physically and continuously engage. And we also have to have the patience that Republicans have. It took them 40 years to overturn, or 50 years, I don't remember which one, to overturn Roe versus Wade. That's what I call dedication. That's what I call dedication. We have to keep trucking and fighting and not sit back and take our marbles back up. But I'm going to say something else, and this is going to be a bit self-serving. There are a lot of us that do this, and this is all that we do. And it is hard very often watching those on the right that are plush. You know, they have all these great conferences that they go to, and it's paid for, and they are treated like, they're treated like kings and queens because they're the mouthpiece of the right wing, putting lipstick on a pig. So they're paid to put lipstick on a pig. Too often, our folks don't mind sitting down in a Starbucks and all these other places and living high on the hog and all that good stuff, and saying we are progressives and we want progressive stuff to go out, but those in the trenches pushing the progressive message. You look at Daniel Cohen, who I have on the show all the time, the president of Indivisible Houston. There is so much work Indivisible Houston that they do in Houston, right? They go around, they knock on doors, they actually try to get people, etc. All on small donations and a lot of their dime, right? And whenever they ask, sometimes people, well, I don't know. And these are folks that don't mind, we go to Starbucks, or we're having these big things or whatever, or we have these big cable networks that we pay for, or a big neoliberal politician comes into town and you go to one of their meetups where they're raising money, $100 a clip, $200 a clip, etc. And that's who a lot of folks support. When the people that are out there, too often, and we have to decide how much responsibility as progressive leaders, as people who want progressive values in our laws, if we want them, we have to make sure that those that are fighting like hell for it get it done. That is one of the talks that I'm going to be having when I head out to not New York but Pittsburgh. I think there's a particular thing I'm going to probably close shop down and go to that particular conference that's going to talk about how can we get progressives as excited into supporting grassroots progressives. I'm not talking about supporting, supporting who's the governor for running the woman running for governor in Texas. In Georgia. She doesn't have any problem. We have this stuff that we'll support the stars, right? So we're gonna, there's one of the conferences that I'm going to be going to that to see, where they think or how we can mitigate that in the progressive movement. So that's one thing. Okay, Michael Rudden also have common dreams. Since 2021, big oil spent over $200 million to sabotage climate action analysis. Nearly 80% of the industry campaign donations during that time period examined went to Republican candidates, according to Climate Power, though whose analysis draws on data and open secrets. Early this month, Manchin, the lead individual recipient of oil and gas industry cash in Congress, informed the Democrats' leadership that he would not support moving ahead with renewable energy spending as part of a less ambitious bill, an apparently fatal blow to the hopes of climate action this year and possible years in the future. Climate advocates stress that the deal is littered with fingerprints of the oil and gas industry, according to Climate Power analysis. Has spent $63 million in lobbying so far this year. I swear this corporate corruption over our government is going to get millions of us killed in decades to come. You're saying it's going to get millions of us killed. It has already killed millions. Many of the wars that we have fought were fought on false pretenses. Every mother who sent her kid to Iraq, who sent her kid to Afghanistan, has to be concerned that while we fight the wars, others reap the spoils for the fact of fighting the war, but no particular results. So you're right. You're absolutely right about that. All right, Eric Hayes says, thoughts, oil and gas gets treated same as renewable in Schumer's bill? I guess this is just being fair, or at least look fair to get it passed. Under the legislation, the Department of Interior would need to hold 3 previously canceled oil and gas lease sales for the Gulf of Mexico and Alaska Cook Inlet and reinstate a Gulf lease sale that was vacated by a federal judge earlier this year. And the department could not issue permits for solar wind projects on federal lands and waters without holding regular lease sales for oil and gas. Those provisions represent a major coup for oil and gas companies facing a Biden administration that sought to limit oil and gas drilling on federal lands and waters out of concern for the big long-term impact on climate change. And what you just did, Eric, is prove exactly what Michael Rudden just said. You just proved exactly what Rudden just said, the corporate corruption. So we made a deal with the devil to get the bill passed. Okay. Yes, we did. Yes, we did. All right, I'm scrolling down. Let's see what we got here. Lee Grant is in the house. Hey, y'all, far right checking in. Lee, you're not far right, brother. You're not far right. And believe me, if Breach MCP loves you, as she says, love ya, Lee, you can't be far right. Breach says it might cost more at startup, but will diminish as time goes on. Yes. All right, Republicans from Paul Fleming. Republicans are whipping their members to vote against a bill that will lower drug costs, bring some manufacturing jobs back from China, lower inflation, protect the planet. This is a simple truth that you know what's so good, Paul? You need to write the ad for them, for the Democrats, because they're not going to say that. They're not going to put salt in the wound the way you just did. In other words, you don't go out there and the narrative shouldn't be Republicans voted against Biden's bill. Because, Democrats are going to go out there and say, Republicans voted against Biden inflation bill. No, that doesn't cut the mother who is having a problem feeding her kid. A mother who's trying to, But what you just said, Paul, that is the ad. Republicans are voting against a bill that lower drug costs. They're voting against a bill that bring your jobs back from China. They're voting against a bill to drop the inflation caused by these corporate greedy folks. It has to be better than that, right? But you get the point. Paul, you just wrote the ad, brother. You just wrote the ad. From E2247, Arturo Dominguez allowing the hate groups to work alongside police and federal law enforcement will only add to the explosion of hate we're experiencing. Actually, let me just say one thing, E2247. We have known for a long time a lot of police officers are members of these hate groups, and we've known it here in Texas, in Houston. We still have police officers, I've been told, the old officers that are members of the KKK. And they have all the insignias on their lockers. So I've been told. Eric Hayes says, Egberto, don't honk, you just leave it and live. That's what I do, brother. You're right, Eric. In Texas, I don't blow my horns. And I tell you, it's so funny because I've been like this for quite a while. Because, you know, we've had a Wild Wild West in Texas for a long time. But I'm in D.C., and somebody honked at me, and I was like, "Ooh, what's going on?" You know, because remember, I spent 8.5 months in D.C. taking care of my kid. Anyway, Alistair Waters says, diversify, diversify, diversify. Eric Hayes, wouldn't using various means to provide energy be a good thing? Smart woman. Breach MCP says, why did the GOP reject a bill to help veterans exposed to toxins? And you know, Jon Stewart is pissy ass mad at that. If there's a defense for Senate Republicans rejecting a bill to help sick veterans after already voted a similar bill, it's hiding well. You see, these are cookie cutter ads ready to be made, Brige. They're ready to be made. From YouTube, Alistair Water diversify. Let's see, what using means to provide. I think they're coming over. I think it is coming over from YouTube. I hope. I think it still is. All right, let's see what else we got here. Want to Kill Americans by Malcolm W. Nance. Yeah, he's back, I think, right? I think he went to fight the war with the Ukrainians. All right, let's see what else we got here. Lee Grant says Roe versus Wade went down because it was badly argued. The SCOTUS was making a correction. It was so badly argued that it lasted for 50 years until we got some quacks in, Lee Grant. Come on, Brother Lee. Breach says, which they have gone too far and people suffer in the end. Yes. Michael Rodden says, Egberto, here's a mirror. All right, thank you for the mirror. I'll put it up on the screen now. There we go. There we go. All right, there we go. This is what Michael Rodden wants all of you guys to see. Let's get it up on the screen, and here we go. And it shows Hillary Clinton's image hit a new low, unfavorable 56, and Biden, let's see, and Trump was 63. The fix. You know what's so bad about that? Even though Trump was worse because of where he won. Because remember, I think that tracks the popular vote, right? It just didn't track the Electoral College. Unfortunately, sadly. Thank you for that piece of information, my dear brother Rodden. All right, let's see what else we got here. Eric Hayes says, this is a dichotomy, Egberto. You argue about tax cuts given tax refunds, and the other side argues increased government spending is bad. It is all the same results, right, economy-wise over time. Okay, good. I'm glad. Actually, I'm glad you said that, because that gives me a chance to explain something. Eric Hayes is actually saying that it's the same difference. So if you cut in taxes, you can inflate the economy, or if you just go ahead and spend and have those taxes not cut, you expend. Okay, the answer to that is patently false, right? When you cut taxes, the bulk of that benefit goes to a small quantity of people. And that small quantity of people, because what's called the marginal propensity to consume. The marginal propensity to consume is if you have money and you are given more, what percentage more would you sell or would you use, right? So if you're wealthy and you get a big tax cut, you may buy a new plane, or you may buy a boat, or you may just go ahead and save it. Right? None of those particular works with that money is multiplicative, as if instead of giving $1 billion tax credit to Bezos, you gave $1,000 to several million, you gave $1,000 to 1,000,000 people. So if I give $1,000 to 1,000,000 people, they're going to go ahead and buy more a dinner for. They're going to take out your wife. They're going to buy some flowers. It's going to be spread all over the economy because that 1,000,000 people going to do 1,000,000 different things, and it's going to jack up the economy in a lot of different places. That flower shop is going to have to go buy more flowers, more plastic for wrappers, etc. The bakery who just sold an extra piece of bread is going to have to buy more flour, etc., etc., etc. It gives a lot of activity. Then you say, but isn't it inflationary? Well, it's inflationary if we also give the tax cut that allow that other guy to do whatever he wants to do. But no, it's only inflationary if there is a shortage and you have the corruption of the plutocracy like you have today. Example, there is no reason the price of gasoline is what it is today because there is a glut of oil. There is not a shortage of neither oil nor gasoline. These are made up shortages by closing down plants, by doing all kinds of things to simulate a shortage where you sell less stuff to gain a bigger profit on it. It's a way to take your money away because you have to spend it and put it in the pockets of a few. So that inflation was a made-up tax cut for them guys because now they got more money in their pockets. It's math, and the thing about it, it is basic, simple arithmetic. It doesn't even take a lot of thinking. They just teach us not to think. They don't want us going through the mechanics. You know, people say like, tax cut, we need the tax cut. And then you ask the Republican, go through the machinations of what happens when that tax is cut. When that tax is cut, we have less money in the Treasury to pay for Social Security and all these other things. And I know Social Security has its own funds, but they're all fungible. And that money then goes to a few because it's, you know, based on how we have a progressive tax system, you give a big tax cut, it goes to the majority to a few people. So we have to understand that. Then what happens is they are taking the monies out of the hands of the average American citizen, either in the form of cash or in the form of services not rendered. And that is what we have to understand. That is what we must understand. So no, it's not a dichotomy, senor. Clarence Thomas resigns from his teaching job at George Washington University because of students protesting him because of his radical views. He's a clown. Let's see what else we got here. Carl Cox says, the mega-rich corporations haven't paid their share in taxes since Reagan became president, with few exceptions such as AOC, Sanders, and Warren. Democratic politicians are corrupt. All politicians are corrupt. Paul Fleming says, Adam Kissinger announced that the January 6th committee will secure Jeannie Thomas' testimony. Wow, I didn't hear that one. And I'm looking at this stuff. I don't see it across TV either. Michael Ronan says, Egberto, half measure. I'm laughing here again. Democrats Build Back Better was already a half measure, and now Democrats are pushing. Okay, so you got me on the half measure, Rudnin. You got me on the half measure, Rudnin. It's not going to be a half measure. So let's call it a 1/6 measure, okay? Or 1/8 measure. Which one would you like, sir? You tell me. Put it in the chat. 1/8 method, 1/8? Okay, give me whatever you want. All right, Carl Cox says it was a little over 49 years for Roe versus Wade to be overturned. Thank you, sir. The students at GW have radical views, not Clarence Thomas. Yeah. If Clarence Thomas wants to tell a woman what to do with her body, who is it with the radical view again? He as a man wants to look at a woman and say, hey, woman, you cannot do this with your body. Who's radical again? All right. Lee Grant says, Paul Fleming says, the road to fascism is lined with people telling you to stop overreacting. I love that. Lee Grant says, I see the Biden administration has redefined recession to make the economy look better. Talk about lipstick on a pig. No, again, we only had a drop in GDP because of drawdown on inventory. And look, the GDP is a terrible calculations, and you're right. If this had happened under Trump, I probably would have been highlighting GDP is down. And I would be just as hypocritical as anybody else, and somebody would have called me on it. And after somebody called me on it, I would have fessed up to it. So no, right now the economy is nowhere close. Nowhere close at all. So I think that's good. Bridge MCP wants me to put something on the screen. The lipstick on a pig. Here we go. You know what? I'm going to get some sound effects. I saw brother Tim Black uses sound effects. I'm going to get me a sound effect. I'm going to do a sound effect channel here. Yeah, I like that. Check this out, guys. Check this out. Lipstick on a pig. You like that? Lipstick on a pig. Where did you find that, Bridge MCP? For those of you who are listening on podcasts, go to youtube.com/Egberto Willies for this show, because you have got to see what Bridge MCP found with lipstick on a pig. All right. Alistair Waters reminded me that the person running for governor in Georgia is Stacey Abrams. I'm behind in my comments, as you can see. I love my peeps. My people are the best in the world. Absolute best in the world. Maywood is in the house. Michael Rudnin speaking to CSAC. Let's see what else I got. Carl Cox, a vast majority of Democratic politicians take money from the same special interests as Republicans. You're absolutely right, sir. Wars for oil, wars for water. You just hit a magical thing, Rudnin. We have all this shortage of of water in the West. I want to tell you guys something that we're going to be on the lookout for. In Texas, a lot of the oil has already been bought up. The water, I'm talking about water, surface water. I don't remember exactly how it's done by, forgot the name of the billionaire here in Texas. I think he recently died. But the idea is to buy up a whole lot of water rights, which I don't think should ever be possible. Look up, hey Rudnin, look up the guy that does that I think he owned a gas fortune, and he's a rich billionaire from Texas and actually bought a whole lot of water rights. I can't remember his name. Let me go scroll down to the bottom, see if anybody does. Robert Davenport is in the house. He says, Breach, where do you get that Jeannie Thomas portrait? Oh, that's not nice, Robert Davenport. That's not nice. Okay, let's see what else we got here. Mike Cisak, Clarence Thomas, recent Supreme Court rulings and commentary on abortion, privacy, contraception, marriage equality. That's terrible. Yes. All right, Berto, if ever write something to CSAC, if you don't read them, they'll never see it. Did they block you or did you block them? All right. Let's see what else we got here. I'm scrolling up from the bottom since I miss things at the bottom all the times. Okay, Peggy Lopez says, so giving money to regular folks to help their lives is actually putting the carrot in front of the donkey. Corporations face to try to get more of the money out of the pockets of regular folks. Yeah, listen. You know, this supply side thing, right, is they never explained it this way when they gave you that supply side thing. But supply side economics is a patriarchal type of economics. In other words, we provide the supply, you provide the demand. We give the supply first, and then you demand the supply that we have to offer you. As opposed to making us have the money and saying, we want that, we don't want that, we want that, we don't want that. You see? But on supply side economics, the masters make the decision. That's how it works. That's how it works. All right, let's see what else we got here. Michael Rudnin says, Michael Berry was one of those featured on The Big Short, has been buying water rights, expecting to crash it. No, but this is a billionaire I'm talking about. It's a billionaire. I can't remember his name. I'm going to have to take something for my midterm memory or something. AC Rodriguez says, tax cuts that only really benefit the top as a percentage of income. All right, let's see what else I got here. Okay, I have a video for you to see. And this one is about not Ted Cruz. This one is about Lindsey Graham. Check it out, and then we'll take it on the other side. I call it the cowardly Lindsey. Do you think Donald Trump likely has something on Lindsey Graham? You know, there is a lot of rumors about Mr. Graham. I won't say that because, you know, we only speak facts on this show. But check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side because it's kind of interesting what we have to show you here. I know some of you have seen it, but many haven't. Check this out. We'll take it on the other side.
Lindsey Graham yesterday summed it up well. Wants Trump to run again, and also that he's done with the January 6th committee. Listen.
If you think Trump is bad for the party, I disagree with you. I think President Trump is good for the party.
All I can say is count me out. Enough is enough.
And of course, there's the juxtaposition that we were talking about. Graham just yesterday versus Graham over a year ago talking about the 6th.
Oh, yes. First, he was really you've done it now, Donald Trump. You've done it now. But you know what? Donald Trump probably came back and said, would you like me to really answer that, Senor Graham? And he probably said, no, I will forever be in your support, sir. No matter what you do, even if it's treason, even if you directed an insurrection, even if you exposed me, even if you told people what my telephone number was so that they could harass me, whatever, I don't care. I am loyal to you, Mr. Donald Trump. You know, folks, it's not only Lindsey Graham, right? It's a whole lot of these Republicans who you sit down and wonder, what is it that a loser can really have on all those Republicans who have sold their souls to Donald Trump? I don't think it is fear of the base, because if enough of them were to leave Donald Trump, I think the base would get the message and the base would start saying, well, if this one and this one and this one leaves Donald Trump, there must be something wrong with Donald Trump. If these guys who leave Donald Trump also remind them how little Donald Trump thinks about them, that they couldn't even go to his golf course. They couldn't even be near him. He doesn't even want them to touch him because he thinks he is better. So what is it that Donald Trump has on so many of these Republicans? I'm going to tell you something I'm starting to believe. I am starting to believe that, and again, now this, we can postulate, right? And I have a question. Could it be that this man's involvement with Russia and with other, let's say, actors just may have a whole lot of stuff on a whole lot of these other guys that prevents them from doing what they really know they need to do? Maybe. I don't know. But I don't know what otherwise explains their devotion to a loser, their devotion to an anti-intellect, their devotion to somebody who has so little upstairs, their devotion to somebody who can barely speak the language he wants everybody else to only speak, Donald Trump. Your thoughts? Politics done right depends on you to keep doing what we do. What do? We make sure to keep, number one, the internet seeded with blogs and information to counter the right and to present what progressives represent for the benefit of us all to everybody so that it's not misled by any other entity. We make sure and populate that internet with blogs, with videos, with all these other things to make sure that we are informed and to counter everything that you normally hear that are lying at the right. We also make sure to create articles in magazines, articles in newspapers all around the country to ensure, again, that our message gets out there. Last but not least, we also write books. As you see it, Class Warfare, the only resort to right-wing doom, How to Make America Utopia, or two of the many books that I've written on these issues. So please support us in one of many ways. Numero uno, you can support us at PayPal, either one time or monthly. Go to politicsdoneright.com/PayPal. You can support us on Patreon. That is politicsdoneright.com/Patreon. Patreon is spelled Patreon. You can support us by becoming a part of our YouTube channel, going to politicsdoneright.com/YouTube, or you can support us in many other forms that you can find at politicsdoneright.com/support. Be sure to visit our store, politicsdoneright.com/store, and get our books at politicsdoneright.com/books. Politics Done Right depends on you to keep. Absolutely. So, folks, don't forget you can support our trip to Pittsburgh, PA, at the Netroots Convention, the largest convention of progressive writers, politicians, activists, bloggers, etc. And you can do that by supporting our GoFundMe at politicsdoneright.com/netroots. That would be most appreciated. Okay, let me see. I have Robert Davenport says, Graham is such a tag-along wingman. He will never stand up to whomever he has designated daddy. He is the weak-willed type that line up to support up-and-coming tyrants throughout history. I agree. Breach says, again, from inside the gay community, they had enough of Lady G. Egberto Willis' Lady G hated Trump. Then they got something on him. Then he is up Trump's... Oh, what did they get? The gay community coming out and calling his name uses... Oh. Melanie, hi Egberto. Came in early from the park cause the dog was misbehaving. Well, we are so happy to have our resident from España, La Señora Melanie Keelan. I got it, Bridge. I got it. I am just not saying it because, again, it's Politics Done Right, and you know I have to hold on to a certain level of, you get it. You understand me, my dear, beautiful lady. You know, I've been watching you guys talk about Lady G all along, and sometimes you're not even realizing what your audience is telling you, right? Thank you, guys. Thank you. Anyhow, let's see what else is here. I wanted to talk a little bit about the bill. Here's what I'm hearing from a lot of my more lefty folks. They are very unhappy. I didn't hear the part that Eric brought up about allowing drilling and all of that. I hadn't gotten that far in hearing about that. But I heard about not enough going into healthcare. I hear about what about the family leave? What about something like a basic income to allow us to help out the kids? I heard about all of those things not being in it. And people raising hell about we shouldn't support the bill. And there's one other big thing that I can't recall right now that even the carried interest, right? The carried interest, all they really did is, as opposed to have it, if you hold the stock for more than 5 years, right? Now you can't treat it as gains. But I want to explain something to folks. God, they don't understand how nasty carried interest is. Let's say I work for you and I sell your stocks for you. I will make a certain percentage of your stock's appreciation. So let's say your stock appreciates, right? And I'll make 20% of the appreciation of your stock. And that is income to me. But there's a special law in the tax code that says my income isn't like wages that you make when you go to work for the baker, the candlestick maker. That income that you pay me to sell and buy and do your stock, I treat that income as if it is my capital gain. And capital gain, as you guys know, is actually billed at a lower rate than the working man's tax. Here's my solution, though. I don't even want to worry about carried interest. What I want to worry about is treating capital gains. Capital gains should be taxed at a higher rate than wage income. I repeat, capital gains should be taxed at a higher rate than wage income, not the other way around. When you get up every morning and go to work and get paid a wage, you get up every morning, you have to go to work. You have to expend your energy. Well, even if you're working at home, you are doing something for that money. You are doing something for that money. You know what the rich guy is doing? Oh, he's taking risks. And because he's taking risks, the highest percentage he pays on tax is 20%, while you could pay up to 37%. People, even a flat tax isn't fair in my opinion, Bruce, but we can talk about that another day. But people, get it. Listen. The guy who does nothing for a living, his tax rate is less than yours. Egberto, will you give back the money you made via capital gains so we can have it? Look, when the laws change, I will follow the law. It's not like I'm getting a lot of capital gains right now because I've invested all of my damn retirement in this, and now it's all I got. But listen, let me tell you something, guys. This is important. It hurts me to see somebody like a middle-class guy I know like Eric or whatever not understand that the wealthy folks just laugh at him. He's a joke to them. He is just a joke to them doing their dirty work in his middle-class name. It's amazing. It's amazing how we have been taught not to think straight. When the guys who built the on the Colorado River, the dam, the Boulder Dam, it's not called Boulder Dam anymore. What is it called? Show my age. It's not Boulder Dam. It used to, that dam used to be called Boulder Dam when it was just built. Now it's called what? The dam that dams up the Colorado River. Anyhow, so we have to be careful of that. Going to work is a risk. Thank you. You would make more working elsewhere. There is risk all around. Melanie Keelan, we got a bit of rain, which has made things a little more bearable. Lots of picnics in the park. Dog, get out. That's the thing, Eric. Any tax money Egberto would pay in wouldn't go to anyone but the rich. There you go. There you go. Eric says, I don't worry about what I can't control. Lane will never be rich. It's so not in my purview. Loser mentality, Eric. I'm sorry. That is the mentality I am trying to abrogate. Or trying to get folks to leave. To make believe that you have no power. That's what was inculcated into your mind. That you don't have the power to make changes. Who the hell gave the people who have the power? You did. Your one vote. It is lazy to sit back and say, I'll just do nothing. What I can't control, I'll just leave it alone. Look, and let me tell you why, to some extent, that is very upsetting to me. Hoover Dam. Thank you, Eric. Hoover Dam. Let me tell you why, Eric, you just upset me in a lot of ways, right? And I honestly don't mean this to be self-serving. But when I started this stuff, and I think I've written this somewhere, I sat down in the dark and I kept on saying things like, God, I see all these things that are wrong with our society, with our democracy, with our capitalist system. And I'm like, somebody should do something about that. Somebody should do something about that. And I realized what I was saying. Somebody should do something about that. If everybody says somebody should do something about that, then nobody does anything about that, right? And that is what the plutocracy expects. All of us to complain, but nobody to do. So I said, okay, I'll be an example. I'm going to give this stuff up. Not only that, yes, Pelosi is one of the rich too that needs to be neutered. Yes, Lee Grant. And so, I sat back and I said, I got to do it, right? And it wasn't completely and entirely altruistic. My website at the time was making enough that if I cut all my bills and cut them down and all that kind of stuff, I could survive, right? But even the plutocracy got to me. They destroyed my web income because they could. And suddenly lost 90%. I'm trying to show, do we have control? Yes. I could have, it was still at the time when I could have said, okay, I'm going to go back into software development. Then I paused and I said, wait a minute. These guys took away the incomes of a lot of small broadcasters like myself. All of us, everybody, I'm not the only one. Thousands, right? These small broadcasters that use this model to put information out. And one day, Google, Facebook, and all of them flipped the algorithm, screwed us, right? The item is like, okay, I guess I got to stop doing this and go work my thing again. And then I said, wait a minute, no. That is exactly what Brother Eric Hayes would have said to do. Well, you can't win. I don't have any control. I said, hell no, I do have control. So I changed my model. My model went from just making money on ads from that the plutocracy puts on my website that they stopped, and saying, you know what? I'm doing this for a cause. And most people want the things that we support, and ask a few who can to invest in it. Invest in what we do. And that is my model. Not to let them dictate the model, but let us dictate the model. So back to you again, Eric. You do have control, brother. I honestly want you to get out of that modal that you don't have control. And when we go out to have lunch, our Texas group, I'm going to have to give you a few back slaps. Loving back slaps, that is, brother. But we do have control. Robert Davenport says, when you vote against your own best interests, you give away your power for slogans. While the political power parasites suck up the foolishness to maintain control, wake up. Vote for the great good USA. I love that, Davenport. I love that. Breed says from YouTube, Robert Davenport. Oh, she reposted that. That's a good one, Davenport. Breed says upstate New York has always had tornado here and there. It's small, but just as bad. I didn't know that. Okay. Let's see what else I got here. Peggy Lopez says, glad to hear you realize you are somebody. There you go, girlfriend. Melanie Keelan, tornadoes in New York? Jeez. Okay. I think the show is over because it's 4:02. I got to get out of here. Look, guys, thank you for being here. Please support the program. I ask you once again, I'm going to give just 2 links. One is the all-encompassing support link, which is politicsdoneright.com/support. You can find all the different ways to support us. I'll tell Ashley hi for you, Bridge. You know she loves you, man. As politicsdoneright.com/support. All the different ways you can support us. And please go read I had another chapter that I posted last night. Tribulations of an Afro-Latino Caribbean man. Racism didn't stop my smile, hope, or journey forward. Check it out. Por favor. Amazon actually give you a few coins so that you can actually read all of them. 7, I think I'm up to 7 chapters. Anyway, folks, my name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right, and you know how I get out of this. My name is Egberto Willies, Politics Done Right, and I am what? What am I? Out! Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is politics done right.